Chapter 8 Black Friday 3 entrances and 3 exits, main hall and side halls, east and west chambers, symmetrical corridors, hanging floral curtains, rui doors, inverted beams, Leigong pillars. The details in this haunted house are actually done quite well. It imitates the structure of old courtyard residences, very effective at drawing people into the atmosphere. As she walked, Chow Nu Tuet kept pausing to study the set design. Her expression remained relaxed, and every so often she tossed out a few comments. "Senior, we're inside a haunted house, not strolling through the gardens of Suzhou. Could you spare a thought for my feelings?" The empty house felt cold and oppressive. Wandering ghosts, drifting funeral paper. What Hack Sun saw was completely different from what Chow Nu Tuet saw. He moved cautiously, afraid something would suddenly emerge from the shadows. "How about we find the exit as fast as possible? I've got a really bad feeling about this. Since we're already here, shouldn't we take a proper look around? We came to play the haunted house. Don't let the haunted house play us instead. Do you remember what the owner said before we came in? He told us we had to find the exit within 15 minutes. There's something strange about him. I just feel like if we don't get out in time, something terrible is definitely going to happen." Hack Sun tried to persuade her, but she didn't seem to care. There are only so many ways a haunted house can scare people. At worst, they've got staff dressed as ghosts chasing us around. We're not even afraid of dead people. Why would we be scared of the living? Chow Nu Tuet wandered aimlessly through the corridor and casually pushed open the door to the room on the left. The ghost marriage setting had been built as a standard traditional courtyard residence. The main house belonged to the elders and master of the household. The side wings housed sons and younger generations. The smaller side rooms beside the main hall were for servants and maids. The moment the door opened, they saw an overturned table. The bedding had been ripped apart, cotton stuffing scattered everywhere. From the center beam hung a strip of white silk. "Senior, I'll stay outside and cover for you. Just be careful." Before Hack Sun could finish, Chow Nu Tuet dragged him into the room. His face twisted. He stared at the white silk swaying gently despite the absence of wind, and his body stiffened. "This is kind of interesting. That strip is about 15 meters above the floor. At that height, nobody could hang themselves from it. The table's overturned, and there are signs of struggling left behind." Her eyes gleamed with excitement. This haunted house is trying to stage a fake suicide scene. These side rooms belong to servants. That means this vengeful spirit didn't even spare unrelated servants. Looks like she intends to torment everyone in this household to death. She sounded calm, almost too calm. "This place is designed very carefully. There might be more hidden inside." She began searching through the room. With one hand she lifted the bedding. Beneath the worn blanket lay a paper girl. A paper effigy sleeping in a living person's bed? She casually tossed it aside and lifted the bed boards. Nothing underneath. Empty. The higher the expectations, the bigger the disappointment. Guess I overestimated this haunted house. Come on, the exit isn't here. She waved dismissively and headed out. Hack Sun remained alone inside. He stared at the paper girl lying on the floor and felt his jaw trembling. Maybe it was just the angle, but he had the unsettling feeling the paper figure was smiling at him. Chicken blood? paper people opening their eyes. Wait for me. Senior. The servant room door closed again. Inside, the white silk had stopped moving. Could you lower your voice? Why are you yelling? You're a grown man acting more timid than a girl. Standing outside the corridor, Chow Nu Tuet rolled her eyes at him. It's not because I'm timid. This place genuinely feels wrong. The longer I stay here, the stronger the uneasiness gets. It's like the thing I fear most is being dragged out into the open. For a brief moment, Chow Nu Tuet froze. She had begun to sense it too. The most important thing in forensic science was steadiness of mind and steadiness of hand. But just now, when she spoke to Hak's son, her voice had clearly become quicker and sharper. That had never happened before. Am I scared? But I know all of this is fake. Then why am I afraid? A crack appeared in her psychological defenses. Neither of them could identify where the fear came from. Under self-doubt and subtle suggestion, the seeds of fear quietly took root. Do you think this haunted house is actually hiding something unclean? Maybe because it was built on a mass grave and renovated from an old hospital. Enough! Her voice snapped out. Isn't the morgue beneath our school scarier than this? You're a forensic student. Why are you this afraid? She sounded dismissive, yet her speech grew faster and faster. She sat on the corridor railing and looked around. Ancient buildings, a morning hall, dead trees, paper money covering the ground. None of those things should have been frightening. So what exactly am I afraid of? Both of them had become absorbed by the gloomy environment. Neither noticed the background music continuously playing. The forbidden melody, Black Friday. Without their awareness, it wound itself around their thoughts like a dark river washing over their souls, pulling them step by step toward a bottomless abyss. Xiao Shan. How long have we been in here? I don't know. But I feel like there's no way we're getting out within 15 minutes. Don't panic. Let me think. Chow Nu Tuet brushed dust from her clothes and headed into another corridor. There's actually nothing especially scary about this place. The owner's just been manipulating the darker side of our psychology. Ever since we entered, he kept emphasizing words like mass grave, buried alive, female ghost. He wants us to scare ourselves. And the cleverest part, he gave us a time limit but never said what would happen when time runs out. That forces us to pressure ourselves and imagine the worst things possible. So what do we do now? Hak's son asked honestly. This haunted house doesn't feel anything like the others. Your feeling isn't wrong. In normal haunted houses, actors dress up as ghosts, use props to build bloody scenes, and lead visitors through a fixed experience. But this place is different. He built the setting and left us free to explore. No directions, no restraints. No one knows what happens next.
Accent suddenly understood.
So, the unknown is the scariest thing. For now, that's the only explanation. Chow Nu Tuet frowned so faintly it was almost invisible. All right, let's go into the next room. Next to the servant quarters stood the central residence. The master's room. The wooden door creaked open. Inside hung rows upon rows of coarse mourning clothes. At the center of the room sat a red wooden coffin. Pasted onto the coffin, A huge double happiness character cut from white paper. On either side knelt neat rows of paper figures. Each had a name written across its back. Their faces were painted. Their eyes seemed alive. Every expression was different, as though they were secretly staring at the two people standing in the doorway.
Please like and subscribe to support the next part of the story. Thank you.